Hello, my name is Matthew Pfeiffer with MattPfeifferCoaching.com. Thank you for tuning into my YouTube channel. On this channel, I talk about all things narcissism. I answer the questions of people who listen to this channel, who have questions in regards to a narcissistic romantic partner, loved one, family member, or possibly a workplace dynamic. And if you have a question that you want me to answer on this YouTube channel, you can send it to Just Ask Matt at MattPfeifferCoaching.com. Again, that is Just Ask Matt at MattPfeifferCoaching.com. Just make sure that you keep the email 2 to 3 paragraphs max, and you're very direct and to the point of what your question is, because I do read the email online on the video, and to make sure that the listener has a good experience, we just have to be very short and very concise about what the question actually is. I can't get through something that is several pages long. Also, make sure you hit the bell notification, make sure you hit the subscribe notification so you're notified every time I upload new video. I upload new videos 5 days a week. And with that being said, let me get to this email. So this email reads, it's titled Validation. So I want to make sure that you guys know the direction that this is headed into, because you'll be able to have some foreshadowing as this email goes along. So this email reads, I have been with my narcissistic boyfriend for 5 years. I started to realize what he was in about year 2 after Googling, why does my boyfriend always give me the silent treatment? It's very common for people to say that they didn't realize what they were until several years into the relationship. Sometimes it can take a while for a narcissistic mask to come off. However, part of the reason why it took so long for that narcissistic mask to come off, when I hear this, tells me that someone was not setting boundaries early and often. For people who I work with on dating who may have been in a narcissistically abusive relationship, that is the very first thing that we work on, is setting and enforcing boundaries early and often. What you will find out is that boundaries are a narcissist's kryptonite. Their mask comes off real quick, right? So you're able to determine this stuff really early on, rather than going through 5 years or sometimes 10, 20, 25 years of heartache, right? So it's important for you to understand that. But with that being said, a lot of people do find out this way. They start to experience the silent treatment. They start experiencing some of the bad behavior. They begin to Google it. They might find creator content like mine, and they start to realize that they have a bigger issue. So this email continues. My issue now is that although I realize what he is logically, I cannot let go. You can, right? It's just difficult. I'm very big on language. You 100% can. People do it all the time, but it is difficult. When we got back together for our usual 2 months on, 1 month off routine, keyword routine there, it sucks me back in for hope that he will change. Keyword there, hope. But of course he never does. Another keyword, never does. Our most recent incident was because I was hurt by a comment that was made on Thanksgiving from one of his family members. It was a snide but very true comment about how much we've broken up in the past. I wasn't going to bring it up, but it just seemed like he was looking for a reason to discard me that day. Probably very true, looking for a reason, right? Quite often narcissists, they thrive in chaos. So anytime they have an opportunity to pick a fight, they 100% will. So I want to touch on something though, at the fact that very early on in this email, I picked up on the fact that you didn't set boundaries early and often. If you've been following me for a while, you know that boundaries are a form of self-love, right? When I talk about self-love, I'm talking about setting and enforcing boundaries, speaking up for yourself, right? Not fearing, but embracing conflict. And we saw that very early on in this situation when you guys very first met, right? And that's the reason why it took you a couple of years for you to see this. The second part of this is that, and the reason why I know this behavior is still happening is because of what you literally just said about how you were not going to bring it up even though it bothered you. That is not self-love. That's actually self-sabotage when you begin to avoid different conflicts. You knew something bothered you and you didn't want to say anything. You weren't going to bring it up. You were going to allow for the fight in this type of situation to come to you. And so this email continues. And so he kept asking me over and over what the issue was, because he could tell that you're being quiet. And you even say that here. I was a little quiet that evening. You should have spoken up, narcissist or not, right? You speak up for yourself. That's a form of self-love. And even after let's say that you guys in this situation, right? You need to speak up for yourself. You cannot shrink to make other people feel comfortable. That's not healthy for you. If you were to ever meet a healthy person, they're not going to put up with this, right? So it's important for you to understand that. I wouldn't have said anything and just let it go. There's another situation where you're going to just let it go. But he insisted, and to no avail. As soon as I finally broke down and told him what hurt my feelings, he went crazy on me, typical of narcissistic behavior. I need help with coming to terms that I am not crazy. He is really this person. And I'm going to tell you right now that he really is this person. Well, and here's the reason why and actually it's not me that's telling you this. You are. You said it multiple times throughout this email. Going back to some of the key words I was telling you about, you said, but of course he never changes. You said this is your routine, 2 months on, 1 month off, right? You know, you see this pattern, right? You're stuck on the potential. You are hoping, you actually said that too, hoping that he changes based on his potential, probably with what he presented to you in the beginning of the relationship. This is what's called a trauma bond, right? What is a trauma bond? It's an addiction, right? You're addicted to him, which is the reason why mentally you know what this is, right? But your emotions won't get caught up, right? So let me continue on with this email, then I'll finish my thoughts on this. I need help with coming to terms that I am not crazy. He is really this person, and that it is okay if he moves on. The last part scares me to death, and this is something that's very important for your people who are listening this to hear. I'm afraid people will think. I could stop right there, but I'll continue. I'm afraid people will think it's me who was the issue. People pleasing. That's exactly what that is. You don't want to end this. You know this relationship needs to end, but you won't end it because you're afraid of what people will think of you. This is nothing more than codependency. Right? Codependency, and you're addicted to this person, right? Showing a self-love deficiency, right? So if speaking up for yourself, setting boundaries and those sorts of things, and are a form of self-love, you're showing a self-love deficiency where you would much rather sacrifice yourself to please someone that will never, ever, ever be pleased with you. You're lighting yourself on fire to keep somebody else warm. So this email continues. I'm afraid people will think that it's me that was the issue, and also that he will be happier while I am here miserable. You're not satisfied with yourself, right? This is another situation where it is showing that you are have codependency issues, right? That you have to have somebody else in your life to make you happy. That's not how healthy relationships should be. Not saying you're necessarily the issue, right? Because he can be a narcissistic and you can still be a codependent, but that neither one will work, right? So I've attached some recent texts. I'm not reading the text on here for understanding. I've heard everything I need to know. I don't really need to go through the text, and I also want to keep your privacy as well. You know what this is, right? You said it multiple times through this email. And I'm not getting on you, I'm getting on this mindset because a lot of other people struggle with this as well. When we talk about, and let's forget about narcissism for a minute. Let's just talk about toxic relationships in general. There's a pattern here, 2 months on, 1 month off, right? Other people are saying, you see it. You've called this a routine, right? You know what this is. And the reason why we know that this is toxic The reason why we know that this is unhealthy for you, number one, you've said it multiple times throughout this email that you are writing on hope, right? That's not what healthy relationships are built on, right? They're built on consistency. They're built on patterns. They're built on loyalty, right? But the other thing that I want you to ask yourself, right? 2 questions that you need to ask yourself. And typically anytime I ask people this in my one-on-one sessions, they're able to, even though you may have questioned yourself for years, when I ask this question, people typically come up with the answer like that. I'm not sure if you have kids, but think about the person who you love, who might be very innocent. Maybe it's a child, maybe it is a niece, a nephew, maybe it's a sibling. If they were going through this, what would you, and they came up to you and told you and described all this to you, what would you tell them to do? The other question I would have for you is that think of someone who loves themselves, who has good self-confidence, good self-esteem, good self-worth, knows who they are, good self-identity. What would they do about this situation? Most often people say things like they wouldn't put up this for 10 minutes, let alone for 5 years, right? And a lot of times when people start interjecting their own kids or friends or family members into their own situation, and I ask them that, like, what would you tell them if they were going through this? People without hesitation say that I would tell them to leave. You need to offer yourself the same type of love that you would be giving to somebody else. I get it. It's hard, right? That you're not prepared emotionally and that there's a part of you that needs to heal as well. But you need to practice what's called radical acceptance. You may not be prepared to leave, right? There's a lot of people, God forbid, let's say someone gets into a fender bender on their way to work and then they have to get a rental car. You may not want to, but guess what? You need to deal with life on life's terms. You know that you can't get back and forth from work unless you get that rental car. It might be an inconvenience in this situation. To practice radical acceptance, it might be an inconvenience, right? To be alone for a period of time while you heal. But guess what? The alternative you already don't like. You don't like the way that this is the perception of this, and you're gonna have to just deal with people possibly thinking that you are the one. Right? We have to let go of this people-pleasing behavior, and we have to understand that the people who know us well, the people who actually truly care about us, will know what this situation actually is. Because guess what? Their thoughts of you really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, right? And whether he moves on or not, there's no such thing as the one, right? If he moves on, he moves on, right? Because you 100% can too, but we can't have this. Right? And the reason why I say we can't have this is that you know this. You said so yourself multiple times throughout this email. So thank you for writing it. So anyone else that has an email that you would like for me to read and answer right here on YouTube, go ahead and send it to justaskmatt@mattpfeiffercoaching.com. Keep the email 2 to 3 paragraphs max and very direct and to the point of what your question actually is. If you'd like to work with me one-on-one, you can go to mattpfeiffercoaching.com. I also have group sessions. I have other social media platforms that are available there. I also have merchandise there. I have hats, shirts, hoodies, that sort of thing. But also you can go to the link down below to get all of that information as well. With that being said, I'll talk to you soon.